Welcome back to the Kim B. Davis Show. Today is a celebration of men, and I have three dynamic brothers on the panel this morning, live via social distancing, because we are still stuck in quarantine, but it's okay because we are safe at home. And so we were just talking about what it means to be a father. And I want to go back to something that Hasani said. Hasani, you said being a father is almost like a thankless position. And I know that with Mother's Day, there are flowers, there's what restaurant are you taking mom to? You know, how are you going to pamper her? But when Father's Day rolls around, it's sort of like, we might go grill. We're going to buy dad a tie, maybe get him a gadget, but that's sort of it. Why do you think it's like that?
That's just how we're trained as a society. Like, if you think about it, for Mother's Day, there's a whole section just for mothers, cards and bears and candy and everything else. But think about every Father's Day. When you go shopping, you have to share a section with the graduates. They call it dads and grads. You can't even get your own section at the grocery store. So there's just not an importance on Father's Day. And again, and it might just be the respect that society has for men, because even thinking about the Father's Day gifts that a lot of men receive, you get gadgets to continue being, the man of the house. It's like, hey, Dad, here's a toolbox. You can go fix everything that you have to fix around the house. Hey, Dad, there's this new lawnmower so you can get the grass cut. There's nothing, a lot of those gifts aren't just something for Dad to enjoy to himself. And so a lot of times men feel like just a human utility because that's how we're treated a lot of times, as just a human utility.
That's a great point. Kelly?
I was, as a friend of mine said, he got asked one day, what he want for Father's Day. He said, to be left alone. And I should tell you something right there. We go hard, every day, all day. For that one day, Father's Day, just go sit in the yard, go to sleep. Sometimes we just need that decompression time. So we're not really worried about going to restaurants, doing this, doing that. We do that every day. Sometimes Father's Day, we just want to be just plop down, take me a break for the day. So I get it, but at the same time, is it thankless? Yeah, but we have to. My reward is at the end of the night, I listen to my family snoring. That's my reward. If I got that, I'm good. Anything else?
I like that analogy, Kelly. Sam?
I agree with Hasani. As to the pathway of how Father's Day or fathers in general became not equal to, but I guess celebrated far less than mothers. I mean, America itself has a problem with the family. This is not African Americans, but fathers in general typically aren't in the home where it is. And what kids see being done every day is typically done by the mom. And then you have other things that come into play where you look at the African American community, dads are even more removed, and people don't want the responsibility. And I say people, I mean men and women. People don't want the responsibility of picking a good mate and people don't want the responsibility once the kid gets here. So the mom is the icon. She's the only person that can't leave the kids naturally because it's the biological and physiological nature of it. So, but as far as it relates to when in the household, like you said, Hassani's household or mine, it's like Father's Day for me, it's what Kelly said, leave me alone today. Let me sleep, let me watch this on TV, or let me read this book without you calling my name or needing me to drive you somewhere. Yeah. That's what it's devolved to. And I appreciate it, but yeah, I know it'll probably never be as much as Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is actually a more taxing time for dads, because you have to remember your mom, you have to remember your wife, you have sisters that have kids, you gotta do all this running around. I may get 3 or 4 text messages, and if it wasn't for Facebook, I probably wouldn't get anybody else probably saying Happy Father's Day. So that's just the nature of it.
Oh, this makes me laugh and sad at the same time, but I understand because I think about my dad, I think about my husband, I think about other men that I know that I wish Happy Father's Day to. So we ladies, we definitely have to do better. But I want to give you some statistics. According to the CDC vitality statistics, 41% of African American men versus 28% of white men take care of their children at home. That means they do homework, they change diapers, they clean, they cook, they do all of that. So I want you to know that statistically, yes, by what we see in the media, by what the personal stories that we hear in the community, we hear. And Sam, you coach and you mentor young people. So I know that you encounter that a lot. And I want you to talk about that really quickly. But I also want you guys to know that you are involved and people do see it and we do value you. But really quickly, can you talk about some of the challenges, Sam, in coaching and mentoring youth in the community in terms of relating to fatherhood?
Biggest challenge is getting other men, specifically African-American men, to understand that that's a duty that you have. It's not something that's optional, in my opinion. It's something, a responsibility that you have. I mean, I grew up without a dad, and much of what I learned was from watching men and patterning certain things that they did. And I made some mistakes because I watched some wrong men at some times, but I always took pride in the fact that I know the kids are always watching because I always was. So the biggest challenge is giving them the right thing to look at. So the example would be, I have students that I taught in high school that are now 22, 23 years old, and they're going into fatherhood. And they're reaching out to me, and they were ninth graders. When the last time I had them in my classroom. But they remember me talking about my kids, pictures on my desk, getting on them about homework, and they're asking me questions now. Now, had I been doing something different than that, they would have picked up the bad habits. If they would have saw some of the stuff that I saw as a young man, they would have did some of the things I did as a young man because I thought that's what men do. So fatherhood extends beyond your kids. It extends it to the vision of every child that puts an eye on you. What are you doing? What are your values? What's your character like? If you're coaching kids, if you're teaching in schools, if you're just mowing along your neighborhood and playing certain music, you're sending the message to kids. And I mean, I think, and that's a challenge, is to get more men to understand that everything that we do is being watched and scrutinized by children, and you're teaching them every day.
Hasani?
The biggest challenge, I would say, is when your heart goes out to a particular child and the parent or parents don't agree with what you're trying to teach that child, you kind of stuck in a conundrum, because it's like, I know what this child needs and I'm trying to give him the resources or the knowledge to do it, but the parents may not like what you're providing. And this, and I'll give you an example. There is a child he's a teenager. I mean, he's a teenager that I was mentoring, and he wanted to go to the Army. That was his passion. That was his thing. He didn't think college was for him. And I was like, you know what? If you feel like you want to serve your country and go to the military, go. Find out what you have to do. You have to sign up for ROTC or, talk to a recruiter. Go do what you want to do. But the parents just weren't having it, and they were just kind of combating me on, why are you setting my kid up for this? And I'm trying to explain to them, this is what the child wants to do. He doesn't want to go to college. He doesn't think like he will do well. And so, and they have the idea that I'm putting this on their child. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes as a mentor and as a coach, you have to know when to influence and when to back away. Because remember, at the end of the day, these are not your children. As much as you want to help and as much as you want to push them forward, there is a boundary that you have to stay behind, because, you don't want to impose your expertise or impose your knowledge on someone else's child that doesn't want you, to have it for whatever particular reason.
Great. Callie?
I think Hassan hit it on the head, because my first attempt at mentoring went horribly wrong, because you take a child who is under a dream killer, like their parents' dream killer, but you figure that parent came from their parent being a dream killer, their parent being non-existent. So you come with generational issues. We come to mentoring a child. That's what any young person I come in contact with, I try to give them the best and hoping they come back for more. But mentoring is definitely something I want to get into because I see it a lot. It's just, it's hard to talk to a child when their parents or their surroundings is so negative. And that's the hardest part because they don't get it. And even if you tell them something positive, their parents going to shoot it down. I had one young person I was talking to recently. It was about like last year, and I was and lady didn't see any rings on my finger. Said, "You want married?" So, she's like, "Oh, you trying to use my son to talk to me?" I was like, "No, I'm trying to teach your son something. I'm not talking to you. I'm trying to talk to your son. You know, you have nothing to do with this, but we have those people who are generationally messed up, and we just try to save our kids from those."
Absolutely. So, Kelly, I'm going to come back to that point that you just made about the woman thinking that you were trying to talk to her. But I want to get in this topic because our time is moving very quickly. Mental health. You know, I am a mental health champion. You are a mental health champion.
Yes.
With everything that's going on right now, especially being stuck in quarantine, you have some states that are opening, some states that aren't. Different jobs are being lost. People are able to work from home. You have this whole disregard for wearing a mask versus other people who want you to wear a mask. You have the George Floyd situation. We have children in the house 24 hours a day. Families are together. I'm sure that the mental stress on men is great. And how would you say, Kelly, that people like you and other people that you know in terms of men, how are you faring?
I'm faring pretty good. I think I've not only have I gotten more into my mental health, talking to my therapist, but also I got into my physical health as well. I got on a bike, got some weights here, and I've been talking to other men. Like, true, you have to maintain your household, but if you're not mentally fit and physically fit, your household will crumble, and that's just real life. Because if they're depending on you to be the foundation, and their foundation is not strong, guess what happens? Crumbles. So I try to reach out to my friends, ask them what they're doing. Let's talk about it. But encouraging guys, go get a therapist. I'm okay to talk to, and I'll talk to you every day, all day, but you need somebody who's licensed and trained to talk to you. Because you might not want to tell me everything. And sure, there's some things I really don't want to know, but get a therapist. Talk to somebody. Find somebody to talk to who you do trust. That's the only way you're going to make it. And maybe you might find something different. Maybe something might enlighten you. Maybe that being quarantined with your family, you learned something about your family you really needed to know. You need a therapist to sort some of that stuff out. So don't take it upon yourself to do everything. Get some help.
Great. Hasani?
Actually, I've been faring pretty well. With the working from home and the ability to spend time with the children has meant everything. I think that definitely the boys and I have gotten closer. And I know for a lot of people, I guess people don't think of it this way. Most people are losing about an hour to 2 hours in commute. So they have the extra time to do something with their families. And so, I've definitely taken advantage of being here with the family and doing things with them. And you just have to find ways to get creative. Like Brother Kelly was saying, like I even got to starting my insanity program. So I've been working out, 45 minutes a day in the house, don't have to go anywhere. And it's been faring pretty well. It's something I have to be accountable to, because I can't, how am I going to avoid it? I have to stay here. So it's been faring pretty well. Just taking advantage of, finding things to do around the house, getting creative, finding ways to fix things. And it's been a chance to just really take a second look at what's going on in my house. Because when you're rip and run, you're meeting people, you're, having business meetings, and you're, having community meetings, you don't think about what's going on in your house, what's deteriorating, what needs paint, what needs screws tightened, what, you just get a chance to work on what's around you. And sometimes we kind of take our house for granted because we're not here most of the day. So just definitely took advantage of that time, and it's definitely been working out for me.
Excellent. Sam?
I'm like both of the brothers here. I mean, I try to stay physically and mentally fit. For me, if I'm not together physically, then my mental is going to be just about as poor. So I try to stay busy. I try to stay active. One of the techniques I've been using is that I'll still get in the car, because we normally do a training schedule. It's part of the things I learned in the Army. We do a training schedule for this weekend, 90 days out, we're going to be here doing this, whatever. We can't do those things now, but we'll still get in the car. We'll drive to a little town in Michigan we've never seen before. We'll go see a park. We'll take a hike. I'm an advocate of mental health and therapists, because it takes you a long way. I had an incident in my life because we lost a child one time, and I came from that. As you grow, you learn. I didn't think I needed to talk to anybody about it until I started noticing that it was really having an impact on me. So I've been doing a lot of Zoom conferencing with people, and talking about things like anxiety, talking about things like depression, not as a therapist, but just talking about what you may be going through. And we've had conversations with people, especially some of my good friends, and I tell them, hey, look, this is not the best time to drink alcohol every day, because it's not going to do anything but make it worse than what it was before. You need to concentrate on doing the things that will build up the endorphins in your brain. Doing a lot more reading and learning about stuff. And then forums like this, it's therapeutic for me to be able to talk about these things. Because like last night, I was on a Zoom call talking about the issue in Minnesota with people that I was definitely contrary to, but we were professional about it. We had a conversation, but it helped to not be able to go to sleep and just have it on my mind. So, and then I avoid the news, because it's other than being informed of the things I need to know, I don't need all the extracurricular hyperbole and the political spin. When I see that, I just turn it off.
Thank you, Sam. Those are all great tips. Okay, so we literally have a few minutes, but I have to get to this topic. So Kelly, you brought up this woman thought you were trying to talk to her through her child. Yeah. What advice in 60 seconds would you give a woman to tell her how to attract a man? And Hasani, you're going to go last because you always give me a great answer. Kelly, go.
Okay. Be yourself and let him be himself, and accept things as they are. Trust me on that.
Thank you, Kelly. Short and sweet. Sam?
As I stated before, women don't have to do anything to attract a man. You're going to attract a male. What you need to do is have a standard to ensure that you have a man. Women set the tone from the first time of the introduction to how you let the relationship progress. You're teaching somebody how to love you, how to communicate with you, and how to respect you. You set the tone as a woman, because men are going to pursue you, right? And if you teach them to disrespect you subtly, it'll become overt eventually. So you have to be conscious about what you expect from the person you're allowing to be in your space.
Thank you, Sam. Hasani?
The biggest thing, I would say the most important thing when it comes to a woman attracting a man, is letting him know what you have to offer. And the dating market is very hostile right now. It's a lot of disgruntled people. It's a lot of upset people. It's a lot of hurt people. And when the ladies tend to get the mic on the national stage or even on social media, it's a lot of complaints. I can't find a man who does this, or I will not accept a man who does this. And so if you're rattling off all your complaints and quibbles and qualms, it doesn't sound very attractive. If you start with, I offer this and I'll bring this to you, and I'm looking for this in return, then it starts at the conversation as to what you guys can work out in terms of an agreement and relationship. So once you change that narrative, instead of what you are tired of dealing with, start speaking out as to what you will, open into your life. And a lot of men will be more apt or more prone to start that conversation saying, hey, she offers this, so let me see what I can offer her and see if we can come together and build something.
Excellent. Okay, last thing. And I'll start with Sam. Sam, what advice or what words of encouragement would you offer to brothers to help keep them moving forward in positivity?
Look in the mirror every morning and realize that you are great. That if not for the greatness of God, you would not be here because there are many obstacles trying to prevent you from being here. Understand that, but with that comes a responsibility and a purpose. You have talents that have been given to you. Use those talents in a productive manner each day. You should finish each day with, what have I done to help somebody else? And it'll come back to you. That's what I would tell brothers. There's always room for work. And if you're doing work and it's good work, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Kelly?
Yeah, it's getting back. Yeah, doing good work ahead is what's needed. We will always be told that we can't. And as long as you accept that you can't, you will not. First, you have to accept that you can. Accept that you can, you will, and you continue on. Never accept the fact that you can't under any circumstances.
Excellent, Kelly. Hasani?
This may come off a little harsh, but hopefully it'll be a good motivator for the men who are, looking for their purpose and looking to keep going. If you don't know where you're going in life, then you're already there. And the reason why that sticks out to me is because a lot of times as men, we just kind of coast through life. We do what we have to do, and we don't find what, we don't have a vision for ourselves of what our lives will look like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So I say that quote as a Kickstarter to say, hey, find out what you want to do and go after it, because no one's going to be able to accomplish it but you, and you're responsible for your own happiness.
Great, thank you. Hasani, where can we find out more information and how can we contact you?
Right now, you can contact me, find me on YouTube, Coach Ali's Corner, and also Hasani Ali on Facebook. And if you're looking for marriage, coaching, and advice, go to Twin Flame Coalition. That's on all social media platforms, and twinflamecoalition.com.
Great. Sam? How can we find you? How can we find you?
Facebook, Samuel Bills. I'm right there on Facebook. Got plenty of room for more friends, so send me one. Send me a friend request. I don't have a YouTube channel and all that. My daughter's trying to get me to put one together now, but I feel funny looking at myself. So, you find me on Facebook if you want to connect.
Sam, I'm going to challenge you to put together a YouTube page to talk about mental health and anxiety and depression, because it is something that's needed. You and Kelly actually should connect and talk, because losing a child, I'm reading Michelle Obama's book and she's talking about that. And I've never experienced that, but there are lots of people that do. And I'm quite sure the conversation around how men are impacted is very small. And so we need that in the community from you. So I challenge you to do that.
I'm with you on that, because my son lost his older brother, and that was a traumatic time for us too. And also going through divorce, I know what that's like. So yes, our mental health needs to be upgraded, and I want to work on that with anybody.
Absolutely. How can we find you, Kelly?
You can find me on Facebook, Kelly Greene, Twitter at Kelly G Live. Also, my website, soulfulpages.com. That's soulfulpages.com. Or you can email me, motorcitygreen@gmail.com, and I will get right back to you.
Thank you so much. An hour has gone by so quickly, and there were so many more things that I wanted to talk about. So I hope that you guys will all agree to come back and do a part 2. But thank you for coming on this morning, sharing with us about what men are thinking, your thoughts on relationships, mental health, what's happening in the community, and how women can uplift men, and how men should think about themselves. Thank you so much. You guys are watching The Kim B. Davis Show. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you on our next episode. Remember, continue to wash your hands, stay home, and stay safe, and be magnificent.